Okay, just imagine for a second. The ground beneath your feet suddenly, violently, starts to shake. Now, for millions of people, this isn't just some crazy thought. It's a constant, everyday reality. But why? Why do some places live under this constant threat while others are, completely stable? Well, today, we're going to peel back the Earth's crust and take a look at the blueprint of seismic activity to really see the powerful forces that are shaping our world.
All right, let's jump right in. This map, this isn't just a bunch of dots. What you're looking at is a 10-year story of our planet's power. Every single point is an earthquake, and as you can clearly see, they are not scattered randomly at all. No way. They trace these incredible, fiery necklaces across the globe. And this isn't a coincidence. It's the signature of these immense geological forces that are constantly reshaping our world.
So these fiery necklaces aren't just pretty lines on a map. They are literally the seams of our planet. To really get why they exist, we need to look at what's happening just beneath the surface, right at the very fault lines that define these hotspots. Now, this is what's really fascinating. This slide gives us the perfect geological recipe for an earthquake. Think of the Earth's crust like a cracked eggshell, right? It's broken into these massive pieces called tectonic plates, and earthquakes, they happen where these plates are interacting with each other. You see them in the young mountain ranges that are still being pushed up, in areas with deep fractures, and especially at the junctions where these colossal plates are colliding, pulling apart, or just scraping past each other. And hey, if you find volcanoes, you're almost definitely on one of these active boundaries. The big takeaway here, it's all about the plate boundaries.
So these active boundaries, they form a few major globe-spanning superhighways of seismic activity. Let's explore the two biggest players, the ones responsible for pretty much all the shaking our planet ever experiences. First up, we've got the undisputed champion of earthquakes, the Circum-Pacific Belt. You probably know it by its much more intimidating name, the Ring of Fire. And let me tell you, this isn't just a belt. It's a 40,000-kilometer-long horseshoe of intense geological action, tracing the rim of the entire Pacific Ocean, from the Andes all the way to the Rockies, across to Japan, and down to New Zealand. This is where the planet really lets off most of its steam. And this number right here, it just shows you the sheer dominance we're talking about. A staggering 65%. That's nearly 2/3 of all earthquakes on Earth happen right here in this one zone. The amount of power concentrated here is almost unimaginable. To put that in perspective, let's zoom in on Japan, a country that basically lives on the Ring of Fire's front line. They experience about 1,500 seismic shocks a year. Think about that. That's not one a day, not two. That's an average of 4 earthquakes every single day. It's a constant, powerful reminder of the restless Earth just beneath their feet. Okay, next up is the Mid-Continental Belt. This is another seismic highway that carves its way right across Europe and Asia. Just picture a line of geological tension stretching all the way from the Alps through the Mediterranean and finally ending up in the Himalayas, the world's highest mountain range, which, by the way, is still being pushed upwards by the incredible force of India colliding with Asia. Now, while it's not as dominant as the Ring of Fire, this belt is still a huge player. It's responsible for 21% of the world's earthquakes. So think about it. Between just these two belts, we've now accounted for nearly 9 out of every 10 earthquakes on the entire planet. That's wild! These global belts are fascinating, for sure. But what does it actually mean for the people who live on them? To really understand that, let's zoom into one country that lies directly in the path of that mid-continental belt, India. And this quote just drives the point right home. For India, earthquakes are a major national threat. A staggering 59% of the country's land is at risk, and that risk extends right to the heart of the nation, its capital city. So how in the world do you prepare for a threat that covers so much ground? Well, you start by mapping it. This is India's seismic zoning map, and it is honestly one of the most important maps in the entire country. It tells engineers where they have to build stronger buildings, it helps city planners make safer decisions, and it lets emergency services know exactly where they'll be needed most when the time comes. Okay, so let's break down this color-coded map. Each one of these zones represents a different level of danger, a different potential for destruction. And understanding this code, well, it's not just some academic exercise. It's about saving lives.
You know, the system is actually pretty simple and clear. It ranges from Zone 2, which is considered low risk, all the way up to Zone 5, the most dangerous category, where you're talking about catastrophic damage as a real possibility. This simple scale is a powerful tool to communicate a very complex and dangerous threat to millions and millions of people.
So that highest risk category, Zone V, covers the entire northeastern region, parts of Jammu and Kashmir, and the Kutch district. These are the areas that face the absolute most severe threat from devastating earthquakes.
And what's really incredible is that Zone 4, the high-risk category, includes the nation's capital, Delhi. This is such a crucial point. Seismic risk isn't just a problem for remote, faraway areas. It is a direct threat to millions of people living in one of the world's most crowded megacities.
So, knowing the risk zones is vital. But what does that risk actually look like when the ground starts to shake? Well, when a major earthquake hits, the impact is swift, it's devastating, and it happens on multiple levels. It's just this terrifying domino effect. First, the ground heaves and rips apart. This instantly pulverizes our infrastructure, buildings, roads, bridges. They just crumble. And in the worst cases, entire cities are flattened, which leads to an unimaginable loss of human life. The human cost, it's just staggering. The 2001 Bhuj earthquake, which struck a Zone V area in India, caused over 100,000 human casualties, people killed or injured. That's from a single event. It's just a tragic and powerful reminder of what is really at stake here. And the terror doesn't even end when the shaking stops. No, the aftermath can be just as lethal. Gas lines rupture, sparking these uncontrollable fires. The vibrations can unleash massive landslides in the mountains. Dams can burst, causing catastrophic floods. And if the earthquake strikes at sea, it can send a monstrous tsunami racing towards the coast. So, what have we seen? Earthquakes aren't random, not at all. They are a predictable consequence of the very same forces that build our mountains and shape our continents. We know where the danger lies. The ultimate challenge, then, isn't really about predicting the inevitable. It's about preparing for it. So the real question is, how can the millions of people living on these fault lines build a future that's resilient enough to withstand the incredible power of the Earth itself?